What's up, sis?
Hey.
What's going on with you?
Nothing much. Hey, man.
Say hey, Miss Ashley. Say hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? Say congratulations.
How are you?
Good.
Oh.
Some glass shatter. Other than that, I'm good. Just been busy. Been busy today. Had a lot of questions. How about yourself?
Same here. Trying to figure out how to adjust and navigate because I started my doctoral program last week.
Okay. How's that been?
It's been going. I started that. I'm trying to sit for my C.
Okay.
It's in all my paperwork. So.
Okay.
It's a whole lot of like newness going on in my life. I'm like, all right, Lord.
You just got engaged.
Yeah, I did. They got me good. I knew something was up.
Like what made you know something was up?
So we've been talking, like our process has been like really expedited anyway, but my daughter kept saying, Mommy, on Monday you gotta dress up because we gotta go somewhere. And what did she say? She said, you're gonna have to tell your story. Hey Charm. Hi, how are you? Said you're gonna have to tell your story completely different. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And then my girlfriend says, her birthday is in October. She's like, yeah, we're gonna get dressed and we're gonna take pictures for my birthday. I'm like, your birthday's in October, though. Why are we taking pictures now? She's trying to find a reason to get me dressed because I throw on some sweats real quick. Like, let's go.
You're real relaxed.
Yeah. So I knew something was going on, and then he wasn't really available. We usually talk like all the time because he doesn't live here.
Oh, where he live at? Where he from?
He lives in Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was calling, he wasn't answering. I'm like, well, what in the world is going on here? And he was like, yeah, I wasn't trying to ignore you, but I knew, being because he's from here. He was like, I knew being at my parents' house, like I was gonna want to come and see you because I haven't seen him since February because everything that's going on with the virus. So, I was.
Where was all that? What was that location? That was a nice
location. In Columbia. It's like a lake over there. It's like a Whole Foods and a lake. And he was over there.
Yeah, that's a nice area.
They got me.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was going through my timeline, just like, and I was like, yo, my sister, this brother on one knee. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. In a good way.
Yes. Right. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna pray real quick, and then we're gonna stream through Facebook. So it takes me a minute to kind of like make sure we pull up and everything. But anyway, Father, we come to you, honoring you and glorifying your name. God, just coming to you saying thank you, God, for just another opportunity, God. We pray that all of those that tune in today, oh God, that they're able to receive something from this conversation, oh God. We pray that you be glorified even in the conversation, God. And if there is someone that may be watching, that may be struggling or suffering from mental illness, oh God, that they have the ability to reach out for help and understand that they don't have to suffer in silence, God. We pray that both Charm and Dana are able to share some tools with the viewers, oh God, to help them to understand what mental health is, oh God, and to prioritize their mental health. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Y'all ready?
Yes.
All right.
I feel weird because I usually sit on this side.
Hey.
You can't go.
You can't go. And cat boy.
Me. Oh my goodness.
Look, he's not gonna be quiet. he wanna be a part. I get it.
Oh man.
Not at all.
You remember those days, I know.
I definitely do. Is she the same way now? Mom, what you doing?
That's your only one?
Yes. She is my only one.
Nice.
All right, I don't. All right, it's loading. I suppose that's what's going on here. I think. All right, so I don't know what. Oh, okay, we're live. All right, I'm like, I don't know where I went. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna get the hang of it. All right, hey, everybody, it's Ashley. Welcome to tonight's edition of Conversations with a Clinician. I see you all coming in. Go ahead and come in, like, share, invite a friend, start a watch party, whatever it is you want to do. We are on with the Lewises tonight. I'm excited.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
You are so welcome. I'm glad you guys, I know you're busy, with everything you all have going on. So I'm so glad you guys had the time to, take some time to talk about mental health with me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Our pleasure.
All right, so the people are coming in. I'm going to continue, give it a couple of seconds, let people log in, share. Feel free to share on y'all pages.
This is so cool. I just shared on mine.
Okay, cool.
Go to mine.
Make sure your volume is down so that it doesn't echo. Exciting.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. We're going to have a good conversation about business and relationships. I'm excited. Yeah. Yes, we got this power couple on the line.
Okay.
Yes, power couple on the line.
I like how that sounds.
I mean, y'all out here making big moves.
Thank you.
Glory to God.
Yes, glory to God. All glory belongs to him.
Absolutely.
And you too. We saw what was going on in your life.
Yeah. I got some big things happening. Look, I got some big things happening. No I just posted it and I said it's so much newness that's going on. But when you're obedient, the blessings flow. Suddenly, yeah. Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't want to make the time go too long. So, hey, everybody, it's Ashley. Thank you for coming on to tonight's edition of Conversations with a Clinician. I have a couple disclaimers, and then we'll go ahead and get started with tonight's conversation. So today we're going to have a conversation with two amazing therapists, a husband and wife power couple, okay? Power couple, yes. I'm so excited to do today's interview to kind of talk about how they maneuver through their own individual lives and how they're also out here impacting lives in the community. Disclaimer number one, please share, please invite so we can have some insightful dialogue in regards to mental health and how it's so overly stigmatized in our community. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. This is an initiative that I started for Mental Health Awareness Month. I do have a big announcement at the end, so don't log off too soon because I don't want you to miss it. So anyway, so I was prompted to have these conversations every Wednesday night right here on Facebook at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be having conversations. Continue to mark your calendars. Tell friends, don't miss out on what's going on over here on my Facebook page. So the purpose of Conversations with a Clinician is to provide candid conversations with mental health professionals or with individuals that have somehow been impacted by mental health, either directly or indirectly, and just to kind of get some valuable insight, as well as providing practical strategies in an effort to decrease the stigma that's attached to mental health, as well as to give people some tools to improve their overall well-being. So that's the purpose of Conversations with a Clinician. And as a clinician myself, it's important that I give you some information on what mental health is, as well as mental illness. And so I kind of do a play on words. I've started saying mental wellness, right? And mental illness, because when you think of well, you're good. When you think of ill, something is going on and you need to figure out how to address it, right? So mental wellness is just one's overall state of well-being and how they're able to navigate and maneuver through life, how they're able to be productive or not be productive, how they're able to engage with others, relationships, a number of different things. Our mental wellness is the foundation for our overall individual well-being and how we maneuver through life. Mental illness, on the flip side, is a topic that's very, it's highly stigmatized. Due to statistics, it says that 1 in 5 individuals have been diagnosed with some type of mental illness, right? So that's telling us that it's common. If you get 5 people in the room, 1 of the 5 probably have been diagnosed with some type of mental illness. And so it's common, however, it's rarely talked about. And so mental illness is a collection of mental disorders that are diagnosed by a licensed mental health professional. These different disorders can affect our thinking, our mood, and or our behavior, and how we're able to manage stress in different, it affects like the impairment of our functioning in our day-to-day lives. So without further ado, I am going to introduce to you today's guest. Yes, Mr. Dana and Sharmika Lewis. You want me to call you Charm, or you want me to call you Sharmika? What you want me to call you?
Charm is good.
Charm is good. All right, cool. They are both licensed clinical social workers. They're both natives of Baltimore City. They both hold master's degrees in social work from the Morgan State University. Woo, woo, woo. Yes, the best. They both found their passion in working to alleviate the struggles of children, youth, and families in the urban environment. Both Dana and Charm use their gifts, skills, and talents to provide quality mental health support to a mix of people in Baltimore City. Together, they founded the Whole Life Center. Come on. Yes. Founded the Whole Life Center, which is a premier urban behavioral health organization poised to serve the needs of the whole family. That's important. That's good. I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you, sis.
You're welcome. So in addition to that, their passion for the urban environment, both Dana and Charm have been fierce advocates of the church, serving as leaders in a number of different capacities. They have the unique ability to speak the language of the church in a way that is meaningful and communicates God's heart according to the importance of good mental health. In spite of lots of accomplishments, their greatest joy is their son, Sebastian. Yes. So hello, Dana and Charm. How are you all?
Hey, we good. Had a busy day, but we here and excited to have this awesome conversation with you.
We
Absolutely. I appreciate it. So let's just go ahead and get started.
I'm ready.
So transformation is important to me, and to really delve into people's stories and how they got to where they are today. Because a lot of times people look at you and they're like, oh, like I'm like power couple, they together, they got purpose, like they do, but how did y'all get here, right? So just give me a little bit of like where you were and where you are and how, what that transformation process looked like.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I can start that off. So prior to us getting married, we were 25 years old. So when I was 25 at that time, I was still living at my mama's house. You know what I mean? Still trying to figure out what this young adulthood is all about. Still trying to figure out what I wanted to do as far as my goals and my career. I just started at DSS when I was 25 years old. And I still wasn't sure about my identity as a man at that time. I still was a little bit unsure about some things and still wet behind the ears about how life is supposed to flow in my life at that time and as a man. And now, I got married, of course. We've been married now for 7 years.
Wow.
And where I'm at now currently is I'm still learning what it means to lead in my home. I'm an entrepreneur now. And I really came to understand my identity and who I am as a man, especially last year when I took pretty much like a sabbatical. God sat me down and was like, hey, man, you look confused about what you're trying to do in your life, about who you are as a man. So let me sit you down, sit down, get some clarity about where you need to be. And he just opened my eyes up last year to who I am, my purpose, and how I'm supposed to lead my family at this current time. So
that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna touch on that real quick because you said something that's important. With COVID-19 going on, all of us are like in the house and they're gradually opening things back up, right? And so many of us have had the opportunity. I'm not looking at it from a negative perspective. We've had the opportunity to really sit and kind of be still a little bit and try to figure out how to navigate through this new norm. And so a lot of times when you think about that stillness, you think about, that's when clarity comes, right? Because you don't have the chaos and everything going on. I mean, even in the word, it says, be still and know that I am God, right? And so that means just sit, be quiet. That's how Conversations with a Clinician was birthed, if you want me to be honest. Just sitting, being still, not, praying, not worshiping, nothing, just worship music on, I'm still, and then boom, here you go. Right? And so it's important that we all learn how to sit and be still.
Yeah. So that's like you said, that's where the greatest ideas come. That's where God can really pour into your mind and in your heart. When
Absolutely.
you still and things are quiet.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're moving and shaking, He's been trying to get our attention for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, I got you where I want you.
Yep.
So let me just speak to you and pour into you right now. So
Absolutely. That's good. What about you, Charm?
So I would say that I think when I'm thinking about, since you started with the marriage piece, when I'm thinking about who I was when we walked into this marriage, I would definitely have to say that I was very self-righteous, very arrogant, very haughty. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I had accomplished so much.
Yeah.
And I was, I had fought through so much, because my background is I have a trauma history in terms of childhood trauma, just been through a lot of things in my childhood. And I was able to go to school, finish school. So I felt like I had come up. You couldn't tell me, right? You couldn't tell me nothing. Listen, I was high on that mountain, okay? High on that mountain.
Oh, let me knock you off the horse.
But marriage definitely knocked me.
Knocked you off that horse.
Knocked me a little bit off the horse. Definitely, I've always been ambitious. And so I think I've evolved definitely into a more humble, a more self-aware, a more, I would say a more tempered, person.
More even.
Yeah, a more tempered person. So I think that's who I am today. And of course, just continuing to evolve, because sometimes when I hear like, who were you? Like, who are you? I'm thinking like, you mean yesterday? 2 weeks ago? Because,
2 months ago.
Right, because it's like ever changing. But I think if I was to encapsulate like who I was, I would say definitely always driven, a little self-righteous, a little arrogant, a little much, but I would say I have evolved over the last 7 years to be a lot less of that.
Got you. So in that evolution process, that's funny, and I'm just gonna touch on it real quick, right? So recently engaged, right, for me. And a lot of people look at my process and they say, oh, well, it's quick. I didn't know you were dating anybody, or I didn't, you know what I mean? And I didn't think it needed to be disclosed to anybody, so I didn't. And they say, well, do you feel like you need to get to know the person? And I said, well, I've done a lot of the individual work, right? I was haughty too, like, look, I'm in a doctoral program. I got money in my account. Like, I got credit score up, racing to 800. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that I was able to accomplish on my own. And as I think about that, I think about who Ashley was when she first moved to Maryland, when I started this social work program, the master's program at Morgan. And I look at who Ashley is today, right? And so I'm not that same 27-year-old that came to Baltimore 8 years ago, or something like that, 7 or 8 years ago. I have evolved. And so when you think about marriage, since we're talking about business and relationship, to me, and y'all help me out because y'all been in the game, right? When you think about it, you're constantly evolving and you're constantly changing and you're constantly learning that person, right? And learning how to be tempered, right? And how to communicate, right? And so how did you like really embrace that evolution process?
Holy Ghost.
Right. No, for real. Nothing but God for that foundation right there. Because times it was like she couldn't stand my evolution and I couldn't stand hers.
Okay.
I understood the covenant of the marriage, right?
Okay.
That you sickness and health, for better or for worse. And I always remembered those vows and had that grace mindset. That, when you think about marriage, right, it's two stories coming together. So
right.
Two stories are not going to be perfect.
Right. Yeah. That's good.
I was going to say, I think for me, what I always keep in mind, like I'm very mission minded.
Yeah.
And so I always think of this scripture, he endured the cross because there was joy set before him. And for me, that is like my thing. If I know there is joy set before me, I can go through it. And so it's like at the beginning of our marriage, we committed to not just our marriage and one another, but we committed to a mission.
Got you.
And we are just committed to that mission. Now, outside of like him, like, or one of us cheating or hitting each other, doing something crazy, we are like very committed to what marriage means in our community, for our family and our community. For the people that are watching that we don't know, we're very committed.
And I always remember what your mentor said about how marriage is not just for y'all, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Because once you are married, right, it gives people in our community hope that might not have seen, wholesome families or families that are connected. So your marriage is an example. You're like a beacon of light. And
that is so good.
Hope in the community when you're in marriage.
And you were saying that you people were commenting, about how fast we got engaged and stuff, and we
did it fast. It was a catalyst situation, but we'll get into that.
It was
okay. That's good.
And we kept it on the low too.
Nobody knew.
It under wraps.
Nobody knew until I was engaged. They was like, "What? Who?"
Like to him? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's good. I had a girlfriend was like, I didn't even know you were dating anybody, and somebody else was like, well, you kept it private. I said the only private or public I needed was between me, him, and God.
Absolutely.
He's been in the center of it since the start, and that's what we will continue, right? And so I feel like whenever you are centered and you keep God as the focus, almost like Peter, and I'm not gonna preach, but like Peter when he was walking out on that water, right? When he was looking at Christ, he was good. It was waves and storm and all type of stuff going on, but it wasn't until he looked right or he looked left that he started to sink, right? So if you stay Christ focused, like you said, Charm, like if you keep the mission, you good.
That's it. Keep the mission the mission.
Keep the mission the mission. You good. All right. So did you all meet? And I might have missed this because the questions is here, right? But we having a conversation. Did you all meet at Morgan or did you meet prior to Morgan?
So we met at DSS, Department of Social Services.
Oh, okay.
In the foster care unit. We met in 2012, December 2012.
Okay.
No, 12.
We got married
in
2013.
2011.
Okay.
December 2011. But prior to that, I always was watching her in the office. I'm not no stalker.
Okay.
Let's get that clear. But I always was watching her in the office, and she used to always come up to my unit and talk to the lady next to me. So I was like, yo, who was that?
Because I was in that unit before they moved me, and he sat at my old desk.
Right.
So I would come and talk to my coworkers,
Got you.
I'm looking like, who is that? She looking good. I'm like, I need to pull up on her, but I was shy. At that time, I was shy, a little timid. I didn't want to overstep no boundaries, whatever. So then, like, in that December 2011, we had a case to go out on. So one of the unit managers had pulled us together to go look for a missing child. And I was like, yes, this is my opportunity. Pulling up. She got to get in my car. So,
like the door's open, Lord, I'm walking in.
Right, exactly. I'm not looking back. No Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm looking straight ahead to that target. So riding, and we just started talking, and from there.
Okay.
Yeah. He stalked me, even though he said he didn't stalk me. He stalked me.
Yeah.
Okay, when we came back, I was very quiet. Okay, he was trying to talk to me, and I was like, "Sir, I don't want to talk to you. I'm just working."
Right.
And when we came back, he followed me to my desk and was talking to me, and I was kind of like, the environment that we were in, it was very chatty. People
Open
just
floor.
talk. Right. So I was just like, whatever, just get away from my desk. You can have my number, but just get away from my desk, because I didn't want people to be in my business. You know?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, people just all trying to be all in your business, trying to be in the tea. That's what they say nowadays, right? Trying to be in the tea.
I was like, just take my number, sir, and go head on.
Right.
And I would say within that was December. So by the next October, we were engaged.
Wow. Okay. So I see that, the process it went quick.
It was very quick.
That leads me into my next question, because you always hear, like, when a man knows, he knows, right? Because the word says a man that finds a wife, right? So I'm not out here looking for my husband. I'm doing my work, making sure I'm available to be found, right? And so, Dana, how did you know that Charm was your wife?
So how I knew Charm was my wife was that when we were courting, when we was in that dating stage, we just had some of the same goals, the same mindset about creating a family, connected spiritually on some things. We always wanted to make sure that God was at the forefront. We always had visions and dreams of doing big things and serving with our social work influence. So, those things just connected with me. And I
thought you said it was my booty. You giving these people the queen.
I'm gonna tap in. Let me tap in. Definitely the physical. The physical was right. But no, for real though, the physical was right. But all in all, we had some of the same mindsets as far as what we wanted out of family, what we wanted spiritually, and how we wanted to move, forward and creating a future together. And plus, I just came out of at that time, a not too good relationship. And then from that relationship, I understood what I wanted moving forward. And at that time, I was like, man, I'm done with dating. I want a wife. Straight up. Like, I want a wife. And just how open and transparent she was, and definitely her ambition, that really attracted me, because I'm like, yo, like, I can connect with her and actually create something special.
Yeah.
It's like I don't. And I think that's important. If you are a man out there and you single and you dating a nice young lady, make sure that she got her head on straight. Make sure that she got some vision, some goals, and you got some visions and goals, and y'all collaborate on that.
Yeah. And that's real good. So I was recently talking to a relative who is dealing with like some divorce and alimony. I don't really know much about that, but like that type of ordeal or whatever, and trying to just make sure that her children had a relationship with their father, right? And so in talking to her, she goes, like, I'm a little concerned. Like, I know my kids are good when they're with me, but when they're with him, I'm not too sure. And so I told her it's important to understand what the goal is, right? If the goal is to make sure that your children has a good relationship with their father, then everything that you do should be filled towards that, right? And so you'll have the negative thoughts, or you'll have the things, but it's your responsibility to make sure when the kids come back in your care, you make sure they're good. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and just making sure that you have that communication with their father, right? I said, even if you're not completely over it, if you need to go somewhere and cry and get what you need, after he picks up the children, you do what you need to do for your healing process. But if your goal is to make sure they have a good relationship with him, then everything you do needs to be focused on that. Yeah, it needs to be focused on that. And then also understanding, like, if in the long run he doesn't have a good relationship with them, I did everything I could do. Right? And that's all you can do. So just, like, when it comes to mental health, right, it's so many different intricacies, and you have to make sure you're doing what you need to do for you to be good.
Absolutely.
Even in, entering a marriage and a relationship, you gotta do what you gotta do. So Charm, how did you know that Dana was your husband?
So it actually took me, even though it was a short amount of time, it still took me a while to know that he was my husband and to be okay with what I knew. And I say that because, again, I briefly said that I have a trauma history. And so your girl was suited and booted, okay?
Yeah, she was putting no blockers up.
I had the protective shield up on stone blocks.
I was like almost ready to give up. I was like,
wow.
I'm ready to bury him, man. Like, what's going on?
So it took me a while because I was just a little nervous. To be honest, I was a little nervous about being vulnerable and being so close with somebody that I actually dumped him twice in the process. I was
see y'all see what happened.
I used ministry as an excuse. I was like, I'm just really focused on ministry and I just really don't have time.
And I didn't believe that though, because the social worker in me at the time was like, she gonna do some trauma,
Right.
We'll connect. We'll connect.
So he was like, okay, I hear you, because I gave him my little speech, because I'm nice. I'm like, can you just leave me alone? And he was like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but can I just, if you could just let me love you? And I was like,
wow.
Wow.
And that was on the fly, because I'm like, I gotta say something that can get me in that door. Like, and I really did want to love her for who she was at that time. And I understood that she dealt with a lot of pain.
I still dumped him again though.
Yeah.
But
but I understood that what her background was, because we had, those intimate conversations about our life stories at the time. Yeah. So I knew that with me just coming in and showing her what real love is at that time, that it could change the dynamics in our courting at that time. So
I would say that he continued to pursue me. No matter what obstacle was. I said, no matter if I did not pick up the phone for 2 or 3 days, y'all, I was toxic. I was still working on me,
It's good. That's your process.
I was still working on me. And so he pursued me. The other thing is the final time. So the first time I dumped him, my mentor was like, I told my mentor, I'm like, I'm not talking to him no more because I'm going to be focused on ministry. My spiritual mom, she was like, girl, what is your problem? like you've been praying and asking God for a husband.
And here he is.
He sent somebody, and you done left the man.
That
is
like,
good.
That is so good.
Like, okay.
Right.
Like, okay.
And then did you tell him like the song that hit?
Okay, so this is the last time. This is the last time I dumped him, y'all. Okay. Last time I dumped him, I was like,
I've been through trauma.
So the last time I dumped him, I was on my way to a visit, and it was one of those long visits. I was going from here to DC.
Super.
And BB Winans and CC Winans came on I'm Lost Without You, and I boo-hooed. I cried, and I was like, I'm a thug. What is happening? What is happening to me? I was like, okay, I must be really in love with him. Like, okay, I must be really in love with him. And that's when I called him and was like, okay, I must be tripping. Let's do this. Let's do this.
And then in my mind, I was like, told you so.
Right.
Like,
exactly. He was like, all right, cool. So you want to go out tomorrow?
So you want to go out? Go to Applebee's?
Right. That's good. That's so good. So like, what I heard you say, like you said a lot, but what I really heard you say was that you had a level of self-awareness, right? And so it's important that you have a certain level of self-awareness to know like what you feel, to try to seek to understand what your trauma is. Like, why do I grew up like seeing my mom and my dad fight, like just being exposed to a lot of toxic relationships, and you understand dealing with trauma, like a lot of that stuff carries into your adulthood and into your relationships in your adulthood. And so I can remember telling my daughter's father, like, I was like, listen, if you ever put your hands on me, it's going down. Like, don't eat my food and don't go to sleep. The man ain't never say, he ain't even never act like, but to have that response, right? And so as I evolved, if you will, right, gaining that self-awareness to know, like, even if you want a healthy relationship, you can have one, you can create it, right? You just gotta find somebody that has the same mission and the same vision. So that's good. So how do you guys maintain business and family? Like, balance. What's that look like? Because we know little Sebastian over there, like, what y'all doing business, right? So how do you maintain that?
So we was actually talking about that earlier. Not necessarily balance, but we had systems in place, right? Yes. So
systems? Yes, that's good.
Systems to any business is going to take your business to the top. You know what I mean? So we have shared calendars. So we share calendars. So I see what she got going on. She see what I got going on. We also look to take Sabbath on like Sundays, where we spend time as a family. We don't answer no phone calls around business. We don't shoot out no emails. It's just a time for us as a family to, you know, refresh and replenish ourselves before we go into the week. So those like two of the things that we do.
I would definitely say it's definitely not perfect. It's definitely not a balance. Like right now, my child is watching PJ Masks, and it's 9:00 p.m.
Right.
Right. So it's not necessarily a balance, but it is just like a flow. And it is, we all are doing this together. And right now, because we're in a building phase, it's just, it's chaos. Yeah, it is. It's chaos, but it's chaos that we are committed to.
That mission that we talked about.
Because we know that one day, you know, the curve is going to flatten a little bit. So we do have, like you said, systems. I try to make sure that I get up and take care of myself first, you know, take care of my morning routine, my journaling, my, you know, my devotional time, stuff like that, so that I have something to give, you know, to them. That's really important for me to have my time. And then after that, it's just making it work like every other mom does. I'm not going to sit up here, or every other wife. I'm not going to sit up here and say like, oh, we have a calendar and it's perfect. We do have a shared calendar.
But it be shifting sometimes.
Yeah, but it's just like going with it. And I think us being committed to, there are some things that are non-negotiable. Every single day, we spend time with Sebastian uninterrupted, without our cell phones, without the computer, without, you know, so those are like non-negotiable things. We have devotional time
and then like individually. And then like for me, like most of the time I'm finishing up my therapy sessions around 6. So then after that, I'm like, I'm not answering no phone calls. I'm not shooting out no emails, even after that time. So, and it really took some work to get there because, you know, as helping professionals, we keep that engine running. Wanting to help people at any time of the night. I'm like, nah, you know, I have to be able to put my family first, put some boundaries in place, and then serve from that point.
That's exactly the thing. Like when you was asking about how do you balance, I think the balance is in the boundaries. It's not necessarily like at 1:00 we do this, 2:00 we do this, 3. It's like setting certain boundaries where you're like, I'm just not going to cross that.
That's good. That's good. The balance is in the boundaries. Come on, sis. That is good. Yes. I love it. I love it. So that's real good. So you said something, and I just want to speak to it just a little bit. Primarily for you, Charm, but you said that you wake a little bit early because you know, you need your devotions, you need to get yourself together. And so that's important, right? As a mom, as a wife, as a helping profession, because what I had to learn the hard way, my mentor was on, I think maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. And she talked about how she had to like grill it into me. Like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to, Tracy, you remember Tracy Allen? Yeah. So she was like,
that's her.
Yeah. She was like, say no. And I'm like, but if I mean, to the point that I was literally like burnt out, I had nothing to give. And so it's important that you understand, like, you can only give from a cup that's full, right? I can't give to you if I'm empty or if I'm burnt out or if I don't. And so we have to take care of ourselves so we can give to our children, so you can give to your husband, like, so you can give to the community, to your clients, to ministry at church, right? You have to take that time for yourself so you can give to whoever.
Absolutely. I always say, and maybe somebody else said it too, but I'm learning that what's in my cup is for me. Everybody else gets the overflow. They have to, because I told you at the beginning, now I evolved from an arrogant, self-righteous person. So if I don't take care of me, they're not getting the best version of me. It makes it chaotic.
And you do them a disservice.
Yeah. Crazy. So I try to definitely, again, it's not perfect, but I definitely try to make sure that I take care of me first.
That's self-care time.
That's good. So the Whole Life Center.
Yes.
Y'all kept that on wraps for a while. I seen it when it was birthed. I'm like, yes. Come on. So tell me what birthed the Whole Life Center.
So that came about when we were dating. So we were always talking about, in our dating stage, about creating like a dream center, right? Because we were on a ministry trip. We went out to, what's that?
You went to California.
California, to a church conference at Rick Warren's church.
Okay.
And the people that I was with at the time, we went to this LA Dream Center where it was like they had like all these services in this one building, just provided for the community. And then when I left that building and came back home to Baltimore, I was like super inspired, and I'm like, babe, we gotta create a dream center, like a family preservation center where we can preserve families in the community so that they're not split up due to not having resources. So we was always talking about that in our dating. And over the years, you know, we tried some things, it evolved. And then what about 2019?
Yeah.
2019, we went to All Nations World Changers, Chicago.
Okay.
So
before we got there, though, I think we were talking about, because we had evolved professionally, seen some things in the field. We both have worked at outpatient clinics and things like that. We saw some things that we weren't entirely comfortable with. And so we were like, you know, what are we going to do about this? And to be honest with you, I'm a numbers kind of girl. And so I'm like, you know, and we had some dreams and goals for our family. And so I was like, okay, where does our passion and profit connect? Where does that connect? And that's kind of where we landed. And so we started the process, and we have been talking about it for years, but I think, to be honest with you, we didn't want the responsibility
at the time.
If I can be honest with you, because working in a community, it sounds very,
it's definitely
self-actualized, very giving and generous, but it's hard work. I mean, it's a commitment and it's a responsibility. But we were like, you know, where's the you know, cross section or whatever, and got there. So we started the ball rolling, and then that's when we went to the conference.
World Changes, and then we got a prophetic word outside of the conference, and it was like, y'all were created to make hubs of healing. And you know, I mean, I got that prophetic word, and it's something that we were already praying about, and somebody had spoken that over our life before, and this was just the sauce on top that just confirmed. And then when we came back, we was like, hey, we got to execute on this prophetic word and get Whole Life Center up and running.
That's powerful. Healing. That is, that's
right.
No, I mean, it really is, because like I'm having these conversations, right? And the goal is to have the conversations to provide people with some, never like replacing therapy at all. Go seek professional help if you need a therapist, right? But starting to have the conversations to normalize mental health, mental wellness, mental illness, all of those different things. It's not talked about. And when it's not talked about, you know, if you think about even in certain minority homes, especially African Americans, we keep our stuff between us.
Absolutely. Right? What happens in the house stays in the house.
Stays in the house. Yes. Yes. And we have to learn how to debunk those myths, right? Because sometimes you got to go outside of the house to get what you need, because it's what's in the house that got you where you are today anyway. But I'm just saying, right?
And then my thing is, if you can get out the house, then you are the strongest crab. And once you get strong, you go back and you strengthen the house. Right? And that's kind of the phase that we're in, even though we haven't really like achieved what we want.
But that has been our mission.
Our mission is always, this is what we're doing, let's do it together. This is what we're doing, let's do it together. And
let's show people that it can be done.
Absolutely.
In our community.
Absolutely. One of the things and starting with our family first, you know, I'm a strong believer in just strengthening that core of family is so important. I think that if all of us did our job in our families, we would make the world a better place. There's enough of us who have transitioned, evolved, you know, went to college, had a few experiences, to be able to reach back to our family and start to strengthen, you know, what we look like as a people.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
No, you are good. You get out because you are leaving me with some like wisdom nuggets, right? And you know, all the viewers that we have, if you get out the house, you're the strongest crab, and you go back into the house to help everybody else and strengthen it.
God, I literally, once I started to see myself not as a victim, but as the one that God chose. It totally changed what my perspective about my trauma. It catapulted my healing because I was no longer a victim.
Right.
And it gave me a mission.
And you were more than a survivor.
That's it.
That's good. Listen, y'all.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So if you guys could choose just one goal, and I want y'all to collectively give me this together. So if y'all need to do a little conversation real quick amongst yourselves, just give me, if you had one goal for the Whole Life Center, what would that be?
All right. We talked about.
I'm gonna let you choose.
All right. So the one goal that we decided on when it comes to Whole Life Center is that when people walk through the doors of Whole Life, that their life is changed forever. Miracles, signs, and wonders happen when they walk through them doors.
Wow.
That's the main goal. Period.
That's good.
Period.
I love it. I love
Period.
it. All right, so talking about the journey that you all have been on and your evolution process, just tell me about some of the obstacles that you had to endure on the journey of marriage and business building, or mission building, however you want to put it, and what it is that kept you focused.
Gotcha. So you want to start that?
Obstacles in terms of marriage and business, I would definitely say on the marriage side, it was coming from single parent homes, and both of those, it looked different for both of us. So for Dana, it was the obstacle of
not having a father there.
Yeah, and just learning to lead and be a husband. You know, when I think that was an obstacle. And then from my perspective, being like super aggressive and ready to lead and ready to be like, this is what we're doing, because I'm used to seeing my mom, take charge and
then you was like in those ministry roles too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The front.
And then, always been, when we got married, I was a supervisor, I was leading in ministry. And so I was used to being, so forward. And so that definitely was an obstacle in terms of roles, learning my new role as a wife
and learning
and
how,
him learning his role
and learning our flow because of those two stories. And for me as a husband at the time, like you had said earlier, I didn't know how to lead as a man. I didn't have those examples around me. I knew I wanted to be married because my mom was always like, make sure you get a wife, make sure that, you establish yourself as a family man.
Yeah.
She always taught me that, but she never could teach me those intangible things as a man. So I was all for the marriage part, but then when I got into the marriage and I'm like, oh snap, I'm a husband, I got to lead. I don't got no tools that no man has taught me. So I'm like, all right, Lord, I got to learn on the fly and you got to show me some things. So that was a growing period for both of us.
That's good.
And I was just going to say, I think anytime you say that, it's worth a pause, right? For me and for us collectively to honor what you are saying, because it takes a lot for a man to say, I did not know what I was doing.
I ain't know. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm asking Lowe to show me.
Right. But it's some
real,
stuff.
I got some stuff. Yeah, I got some skills.
You ain't completely lost.
I'm humble about it. I'm like, yo, Lord, all. I need you to keep downloading some stuff to me, though.
Yeah, and I think it's important I'm always trying to push him to elevate that message, because there's a lot of men out here who are in our age group that are like, okay, I didn't have it, but I want to create that.
That.
How do I create that? Or they, in their attempt to create it, they have created these toxic relationships. They've done things that they really don't want to do, but it's because they didn't have the tools. And then we don't have a lot of men out here being as vocal as, in terms of like women empowerment. You can go to a woman and she could teach you whatever you want to be taught: how to do your makeup, how to be sexy, how to do this, how to be a wife, how to cook, how to right.
I think that's a pride thing though, because no man don't want to say that I don't know what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think I'm always encouraging him, y'all, to elevate that message and to put it out there and to teach what he has learned, because he ain't the only one that came from a fatherless home. Most of us all came from a fatherless home. So, I think that's important. But in terms of business obstacle, I'm talking to Daddy. In terms of business obstacle, what would you say is the business obstacle?
The mindset piece. Battling the self-defeating thoughts, even though you know that you were called to do something great, still fighting through those self-defeating thoughts and still pushing towards that mark to accomplish what you were called to do. That's some of the things that we're still working through. Is that obstacle right there. But we committed, like we said earlier, to the mission.
Yeah.
Of our family, to God, and to the community, and we're gonna keep pressing through those mindset battles.
That's good. That's real good, because when you think about mindset, like I tell myself, I tell my daughter, I tell my clients, like we already don't use as much of our brain capacity as we should, right? It's like 10%, 12% or something like that. But like, if you can change your mind, you can change your life. learning how to shift your perspective about things, it changes how you look at the situation. It changes how you feel about the situation. It changes the reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? So like that mindset thing, like I feel like that's something that we'll have to deal with forever. As helpers, with our clients, like with our children, because it's so much that society throws at you. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then you hear that, and then you hear the voice like, I know I'm called to do it. So you really have to. I heard Dana say something, and it was that determination. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I didn't have it. I didn't have a father. I didn't know what I was doing. He had that self-awareness, and he was determined to shift the trajectory. So he had that mindset of being determined. And just like Charm said, like, I honor you for that, because if it was more men that could step up and say, look, I don't have it, how do I get it? Right? Asking for help is not a weakness. It's a strength for real.
And I had said that on a post a couple days ago about asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise.
That's good.
I was going to say too, I always like to remind people, because I think mental illness is still or getting help for mental illness is still very stigmatized, but we've come a long way. We're talking about it more, but I always like to remind people that once you've acknowledged your toxicity, your trauma, your drama, whatever, that final stage of healing is personal development. That final stage of healing is understanding your purpose and cultivating it, right? It's like what you were talking about, that mindset piece. It's that evolutionary trek to self-actualization.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm being called, so I'll be there.
Okay. All right. So, Dana, so like, what are some of the challenges that you all see that your clients are experiencing? Like, those that you guys serve, like, what are some of their challenges?
So I serve mostly those who dealt with addiction or currently are dealing with addiction. And some of the challenges that I see with my clients is that they lost hope. They feel like they can't get their life back in order. They feel like it's no light at the end of the tunnel, that their trauma and the things that they experience in their life is their story. So it's really helping them to, break out of that mindset and really help to encourage and support them in that process, so that they can see that, you are more than a survivor. You are a conqueror. That you can press towards changing your life, getting better, getting healthy. So that's some of the common things that I see as far as challenges with the people that I serve.
Got you. And Charm, I was just asking Dana, I don't know, did you hear the question?
Yeah, I got it. So I would say one of the challenges is getting people to buy into value around what I was talking about, personal development, around health and wealth. I think being able to see what I want to say. I think we're moving in a great direction when we're talking about mental illness. We are moving in a great direction, and we're going to therapy. But getting people to be able to invest in themselves at the level that we need to in order to make real progress. People are going to therapy, but it's like, oh, are you in my network? Because I ain't about to pay out of pocket.
I'm not gonna pay no $300.
Right. I'm not paying out of pocket. And do you have a sliding scale fee? But at the same time, they got bundles and Balenciaga
priorities.
Right, exactly.
Trucks.
Right. So I think just one of the challenges and obstacles is just misplaced value, and helping our community see that placing your value in whole life, right? Not just because we got the mental health part, but we also have a lot of therapists out here that we haven't scratched the surface when we talk about neuroscience and wholeness, right?
Yes.
Right. And so just getting people to invest in that and understanding that we are three parts, and all of those three parts have to work together.
Was it triune being?
Yeah, we are triune, right? And so I think just all of that. That's an obstacle.
I mean, I was listening. I was taking notes because you touched on something. So in the midst of the quarantine, right? So I signed up for 2 certifications. One was to be certified in telemental health, because being in a doctoral program, I need as much of my time as possible, right? But then I also signed up to be certified in anxiety treatment through PESI. And so it talks about how neuroscience and anxiety and depression. And I was in there like, man, I should have went to school for neuroscience. Like, it's so good. You know what I mean? Because just the way that your brain can change based on like exposure therapy and, you know, all of that different stuff. It was so, I don't want to say interesting, but it was like intriguing. And like, I wanted to know more, and I'm like buying books and studying.
It's next level, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's next level. Like, I always tell my friends, my family, if you're going to therapy, ask your therapist, what do you know about neuroscience?
Mm-hmm.
How are you applying it to your practice?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I think that's the part that we miss. We can have people come and talk about their issues and work through and gain some level of traction
insight.
and healing, right?
Yeah.
You add that part in there that you got to take care of your spirit too, and you got to take care of your body too, and how to change your brain.
That's a whole nother level.
Yeah,
it's a game changer right there.
Or even telling people like you have the ability to change your brain, like,
and that's the thing.
You can change your molecular structure.
And that's the thing that I come across too with some of my clients is that, I don't think that I could ever get back to regular thinking or healthy thinking again. And we had that conversation, like, you have the ability to change your brain.
Absolutely.
That is so good. So tell me, the work that you all are doing with others, how has it impacted your own lives?
Wow. This is my favorite question. This is my favorite question because it's being transparent. Just coming up in my life, I've experienced a lot of rejection, not really having a lot of people to at times encourage me, things like that. And
before you met me.
Before I met you.
That's right.
That's clear. Let's make that clear. Absolutely. But it just goes to show, like, some of the things that I went through in my life, and now that I'm able to serve and help people grow, that the things that I've experienced in my life, it didn't hinder me. It didn't hinder me to be a servant to other people, to help them to grow, to help them to elevate. And it just goes to show that your story doesn't make it final for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Your story is just that to catapult you to impact. And that's what I get when I'm serving clients, is that my story and what I've been through just created me to be here with you, to impact you.
That's it.
I think for me, the work that I do with women has impacted me greatly. I find motivation because I know that I can only take them as far as I've gone, as I go. And so I'm motivated. I never, even if I have lulls where, maybe I give up on my health goals or I'm not as mindful as I need to be, I am reminded that you need to go back and get on the board and, do what you're supposed to do, because there are women that are called to you. There are women that are looking to you, even if they don't say it. And there are communities and lives that I'm supposed to impact. And so for me, it is a part of definitely the fuel that keeps me going. And it's very humbling. I got a text message the other day from a lady, a girl, I don't know what you want to say, one of my peers. If I say lady, that's like, I feel like it's older, but anyway.
I got you.
She texted me, it was like, I'm still using the affirmations that you put in the first journal that you created. And I was just like.
And what did that speak to you though, about planting seeds though, right?
I was just like, dang, really?
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I was just like, that's super cool. It's very humbling. So that's how I would say it has impacted me.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I know for myself, like a lot of times with the things that I do, I had to really, and this came from stillness too, but me understanding that there are souls attached to my movement. Right. And so if I let fear consume me, somebody else is not going to get what they need because I wasn't in position to give them, like whomever God has called me to, right? If I'm not in position, how can I give to others? And so I think it's important that we embrace whatever our process is, and we learn that even if you are fearful, because fear is a real emotion, but you have to, I told my daughter, I said, you have to do it afraid, right?
Afraid.
Keep going. Even if you're scared, like keep going. Mommy will hold your hand or whatever. We'll fall off the bike a couple times because that's what we're learning how to do right now.
I saw that.
Whole struggle, okay. Oh my goodness. So
go ahead.
Oh,
I was gonna say on the fear thing, just us reshaping our minds and how we define fear. You know, like. That sometimes we feel like fear means stop. Fear means don't do that again. Fear means, you know, step away. But sometimes
fear can mean like you're in the purpose zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Look what he said.
Yes, exactly. It really could.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. All right. So what does mental well-being mean to you?
So mental well-being, what it means to me is basically someone who can really take inventory about the thoughts that's going on in their mind, being able to see like, okay, I'm super self-aware about what's going on, what thoughts are negative, what thoughts are positive, and being able to navigate that.
I would definitely say the same thing. One of the things that I like to say is that your mind is the seat of your emotions, your feelings, your desires, your will, your passions, right? All of that is in your mind. And your mind is something that is intangible, right? Your mind is abstract. If you will. And so for me, it is, like you said, that optimal health, how healthy are my thoughts, how healthy is my desires, how healthy, you know, are my my wants and my ability to execute that. And then when those things aren't as healthy, do I recognize it and can I retrain? Can I navigate and get back to a healthy state, and how fast I can do that?
And I was listening, I was listening to a podcast on Apple. It's Anthony O'Neill's podcast, and he was basically saying like the greatest business that you can ever have in your life is your mind. Your mind should be your business. Your business. You know what I mean? Like he said that, I was like blown. And he was saying like, you know, treat your mind like a business. Take inventory of what's going on. You know, show up for your business. Show up for your mind. Invest in your mind. Look up certain resources. Go to certain support groups, certain conferences, whatever you need to get to boost your mental wellness. Treat it like a business.
I like it. That's good. That's good. So like I was like in the process of like this whole conversation with a clinician, like it literally was birthed in like less than a week.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, okay, God, like somebody was like, so what you gonna do next? Like I'm like, I didn't even know I was gonna do this. Let me go lay on my face, see what's next, because Ashley doesn't know, right? And I lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with that.
Keep it going, push through. Come on.
Somewhere with that, and I lost my train of thought.
Just go.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question. If it comes back, I will share. So how do you all plan to continue to bring awareness to mental health in your community in order to bring about healing?
I think for me, it's just continuing to do what we're doing now, is to make ourselves available for conversation, to make ourselves available if we're ever invited to be a part of anything, and also just to the everyday conversation, you know, doing that. Also,
what we started doing with the lives.
Oh yeah.
Like, so sharing things that we are reading, you know, things that are building up our personal development, and being able to get that information out to those in our community so that, you know, we can all learn together. So that's how we can keep that conversation around mental
so
health.
Something that you guys are doing with lives. So tell me more about that. What's that? Y'all doing lives on y'all pages or something, or what?
So we are on a success journey, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been talking about us being in this average class, and how we know that we were born for extraordinary, but how do we get there? And so we started reading this book called The 10X Rule.
Okay.
And we were like, you know, let's do this together, but let's do it with everybody else too, so that they can get this information. So it turned into in the morning, somewhere between 10 and 11, Monday through Friday. We are on live, and we just go through our highlights and have conversation and share our struggles.
Okay.
About how we are pursuing building Whole Life Center, how we are pursuing building who we are as human beings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm gonna have to check y'all out. Y'all on Instagram, Facebook, both? What? Facebook. All right. I'm definitely gonna have to check y'all out. All right. So tips and tools that you all want to leave with the viewers in order to help us become mentally well.
So one of the tips that I'm going to leave you guys with is simple. invest in your personal development. Look to tap into things that's going to elevate your mind, give you that encouragement, learn new skills, invest in whatever it is that you want to see in your life, invest in that 10 times, so that it can boost your confidence, so that it can increase your mindset, and so that you can learn new things to even help somebody else in their journey. So invest in your personal development daily. Like, make that part of your diet, your mental diet, personal development.
I would say that tips and tools for well-being. I would say connecting with your creator.
Absolutely.
That is like just, thank you. That is just so important for me. That's the baseline for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just being in constant pursuit of relationship with God. And I would also say have a great support group. A group of people that y'all are going in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
You need a group of people that y'all are going in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
You need a person or a group of people who are where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you also should be someone who is coming up behind you.
That's good.
Yeah, so just make sure you have those 3 relationships going on in your life, and that they're well. Don't look for balance, right? Because balance is just not going to exist.
Yeah.
Whatever you are doing, be obsessed about it, be passionate about it, go all in.
Be committed.
Because honestly, if you're not fulfilling your purpose, you're not going to be mentally well. I'm never satisfied when I am chilling.
Yeah.
I wasn't made to chill. And I don't mean that in a negative or toxic way, because Lord knows I have overcome being a achieveaholic, right? A successaholic, right? But I think that it's important to be in purpose, because that makes you feel good.
Yeah, they give you that confidence, that flow.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you guys. Y'all got anything else y'all want to share? I appreciate it.
I think that was thorough, man.
That was thorough. I like it. This was good. I appreciate both of you all. I appreciate the work y'all doing in the community. And if no one else is rooting for you, I am. Because be in union. Keep going, right? Stay encouraged. Stay before God, and just continue to support and continue to encourage one another. Y'all got
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. All right. Well, y'all be blessed. Thank you, everybody. Peace. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Conversations with a Clinician. I appreciate you all. If you jumped on late, feel free to go back and watch the replay. Feel free to share. Feel free to start a watch party, whatever. The goal of Conversations with a Clinician is to get the word out. Let's start talking about our mental health. Let's start finding and identifying tools that we can implement into our life every single day to make sure we are mentally well. We had Charm and Dana Lewis on today. It was an amazing. They are the founders of the Whole Life Center. And so without further ado, everyone has been asking me what's next for Conversations with a Clinician. It's May 27th. This was an initiative that I started for just the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. However, Conversations with a Clinician will continue. Woo! It will continue. But it will not be, generally it was 2 interviews every Wednesday night. It will not be 2 interviews every Wednesday night. It will not be every Wednesday night. It will be other Wednesday night. I will be letting you all, let you all know if it'll be on the 1st and 3rd or the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays. Unfortunately, I do have to set boundaries. I am in a doctoral program and I cannot keep up with 2 interviews every single Wednesday. It's a lot. So I have to set boundaries to make sure that I stay mentally well. So if you know anyone that is interested in interviewing on talking about mental health and anything, please let me know. We have a momming and mental health edition that will be coming up next month. So make sure you tune in if you're a mom, if you know a mom, if you want to be a mom, right? To just talk about what it looks like to be a mom and make sure that you maintain your mental health. Also, this Saturday, it's the last Saturday for our midday grind. And so on May the 6th, we had our mental health and exercise. It was Mind, Body, and Soul edition. And we were talking about the importance of exercise and mental health. And so on this Saturday, it's the very last Saturday for our midday grind. trying to encourage us to get our bodies up and get them moving so we can get the endorphins and get the serotonin flowing and make sure that we are good and healthy, and our whole body is right. That's at 12:30 p.m. You can sign up on Eventbrite. Also, this Saturday, it's our last journaling workshop, The Right Kind of Healing. You can also sign up on Eventbrite. It's good. Listen, these last 2 Saturdays have been amazing. Do not want to miss it. We talked about, on May 6th, we also talked about some of the benefits of journaling and mental health and just evicting those thoughts out of our mind, putting them on paper and creating clarity. And so this Saturday is our last journaling workshop. People have been asking, are we going to have another? And I will be starting a Facebook group so we can journal together, we can write together, we can share together, because we all deserve healing, right? And so let's heal together. So we will be having a journaling Facebook group. If you're interested, send me a DM. Send me a message on Messenger, whatever it's called. I think DM is on Instagram, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But send me a message if you're interested. We'll be having journaling topics that we'll be writing about together. We'll be healing together. I'm so excited about the things that are going on with Conversations with a Clinician, because we really want to let everybody know that you have the opportunity to heal and that you do matter, right? And so let's come together collectively to do what it is we need to do as a community, right? And create unity, and let everybody know you don't have to suffer in silence, right? There is someone out here to help you through. So I love you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right.